Yo, what's in room 20?
Hello everybody and welcome back. Cornelius Prax here, and today's topic is, how did I get involved in role-playing games? That's an interesting story. I was raised on military bases, and during my sophomore year of high school, I was at Port Hueneme High School in Port Hueneme, California, because I lived on the CB base there. One day my best friend Terry came over to show me what he found in his dad's stuff. And yes, you guessed right, Dungeons and Dragons. I've always told this story with it actually being the player's handbook, the Dungeon Master Guide, the Monster Manual from AD&D, but somebody's recently asked me if I'm sure that's right. And now that I think about it, maybe my memory's playing tricks on me and it could just be a basic D&D box set. I don't really remember, but the most important part of this story is the fact that this stack of stuff contained the module Keep on the Borderlands. So even though we had nobody to show us what to do or explain how we were even supposed to be playing, we made characters, 3 dice 6, bloop, we got our stats, we gave them some equipment. We didn't know anything about role-playing, storytelling, or basically what we were even supposed to be doing. We did know that we needed a dungeon master. Of course, from our perspective, at this point, his dad and my mom, they were old people. What would they possibly have to do with something as cool as Dungeons and Dragons? This was my sophomore year, so I was 15 for most of the year, turned 16 right at the end to get my license. So if I was 15 or 16, that means my mom was 33 or 34 years old. 34 years old. We thought that was an old person back then, but now, God, I wish I was 34 again. Anyway, since we really didn't understand the whole concept of role-playing, we essentially turned it into a board game or a miniature game like Mage Knights or Hero Quest. We would sit there with our character sheets and say, we go into room 20. What does it say? My confused mom would read the description as it was written in the module. We would proceed to roll dice and have combat with the 20 bugbears or whatever the hell was in the room. This would continue until both of our characters were dead, because since we weren't role-playing, we didn't know running away was an option. We would make new characters later that week, and maybe the next weekend we would return back to where we left off. Kind of like respawning in a video game. We would just continue where we left off. That was my first unguided experience with role-playing games. The next year we moved to San Diego, California. I had close friends at the last place because we lived there for 4 years. Unfortunately, I was very awkward and very shy, and it usually took me at least a year to get comfortable with new people. I only lived in San Diego for 1 year, so I never really had time to make any meaningful connections. As the year was winding down, I did find a group of people talking about a game called Champions. I told them I played D&D, and they said Champions was similar to D&D, except you actually get to play superheroes. Wait, what? I collected comics. I just went to the San Diego Comic-Con. My parents just bought me the greatest Christmas gift I've ever gotten in my whole life, including up until this day, Daredevil number 158, the first Frank Miller issue. You're telling me there's games where I actually get to play a superhero? I never got to play with them, but they planted a seed and it was soon about to blossom. Then in August of 1984, I moved to Evansville, Indiana. TSR, the original publishers of D&D, had a club, a group for promoting their games and organizing play at tournaments called the Role Playing Game Association. The RPGA had more members per capita in Evansville, Indiana than any other place on earth. So right before my senior year of high school, I moved into a hotbed of role-playing games. As usual, it took me almost a full year before I got close to anybody. By the end of the year, my new friend Robert had introduced me to some more of his friends and family, and they all seemed to be involved in role-playing games. The following years would introduce me to many different games, many different genres, but the first and most influential role-playing experience was when he introduced me to his friend Tom, and we started playing Villains and Vigilantes. We were rolling 3d6 for statistics, just like we did in D&D, but we got to play superheroes. I was in heaven. Were you lucky enough to have experienced players show you the ropes from the very beginning, or were you like me and you really didn't know what you were doing and you were just kind of making it up as you went? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you made it this far in the video, could you please like the smash button and subscribe? So that's the end of the beginning. And coming up on the channel, we will have some in-depth videos about Villains and Vigilantes. But first, I think we're going to paint some miniatures. See you next week. And whatever you do, please subscribe.